Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mention It All podcast. I am so excited to be joined today by two of my coworkers, my colleagues, my fellow Betches hosts. They host the Blabbermouths show every week on the Betches YouTube, and now they are here in Mention It All. Eleni Sabracos and Will Oser. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Lovely to see you. We're all wearing blue today.
Yeah, this is really fun to be doing with our boss.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like you're my boss and you're like my grand boss.
You're my boss.
So if you're listening on audio, Eleni is Will's direct manager and I am Eleni's direct manager.
You love to say manager, Dylan. You're like, I don't sign your checks.
I don't like the word boss because it's like I like manage. I'm not like in charge of it.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's
I
more
see.
fun to be like, my boss.
My boss.
Right. Like if you were complaining about me to like
Right.
your friend at
My
brunch,
boss.
I would expect you to be like, oh, my boss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, oh my
yeah,
God, my
yeah,
boss,
yeah.
Dylan.
But then even when
I don't know. I'm like, it feels like so aggressive.
I love it. I'm like, Will, I'm your boss. Shut up.
yeah, you are very, she's like literally a dictator, tyrant. But whenever I talk about like my work structure or bosses, I feel like I say I have three bosses. You,
Oh, that's
Dylan,
weird.
and Katie. So then it's like, I'm always like, people are like, oh, which boss are you talking about? I'm like, oh, this
Oh,
one. But I'm not
interesting.
talking poorly. I hope you know that wasn't just like, I was just
You're like when I'm showering praise on my boss, people are always like, which one do you love the most? And you
That's
always
exactly-
say Dylan.
yep.
Yeah, and he's always
Yeah.
talking about Dylan when he's showering
Yep.
praise.
I go, Dylan lets me watch Summer House screeners early. My favorite boss.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, it was a very contained space where we watched the
Oh
Summer
yeah,
House
sorry.
screener.
Oh my God, cut that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm not firing out the link every
No,
week.
he's not.
No, but so we're recording this, whenever we're recording it, we've watched Summer House and we're going to talk about it.
Yes.
We're going to talk about lots of stuff though.
I'm
Eleni,
excited.
this is actually not your first time.
It's not. I was going to say, some of you fans of Mention It All might remember me if you're really a loyal listener.
The longtime mentioners.
The longtime mentioners will remember me from, was it 2-3 years ago?
Oh God, it was after BravoCon in 2022
Right.
because it was the one at the Javits Center.
And how
went to
times
that
have changed, because while we were recording that episode, I at the same time was trying to get Taylor Swift tickets for Heather Gay. So times have really changed.
No, I do remember this because we were sitting in the studio at the time. We had this big table, and you had your phone out on the table, and not only like was the phone out, but you wouldn't let the screen go dark.
I was like touching it.
Because you were like, just so we know, at any second I may need to bring this to a halt
Buy tickets.
and purchase Taylor Swift tickets.
Which I did get them if
for
anyone was wondering.
Georgia and Ashley and the third one.
And well, no, it was Heather and her friend.
Oh, not the
That
kids.
one was abroad. But just like they did get the tickets and they did go.
But
so
did you
everyone
buy
knows.
them during the episode?
It was
No,
afterwards.
it was after. The
would've been
queue,
good too.
the
Yeah.
queue took longer
For
than this
anyone who's
episode.
like confused, I used to be a Bravo producer, and I took like a video of Heather at BravoCon with a baguette.
with the
Oh,
back
that
and
was
Dylan
like,
was
it was
like,
like backstage in the bowels of the Javits
Yeah.
Center.
Yep.
yeah,
with, like,
deep
golf
cut.
carts and
Insert the
stuff.
clip.
Yeah.
Dylan was like, "Oh, can I post this on Bravo by Betches?" And I was like, "Yes, you can if I can come on your podcast."
Look, you had an angle.
Which a foreshadow. All I wanted was to yap, and now Dylan is my boss, and I work here. So how times have changed.
Talk about the butterfly effect.
Talk about the butterfly effect.
I think
if
that's
I had never taken that video of a baguette, I never would have
would've
been on
been-
your podcast, and I never would have worked here.
It is interesting. So you were a reality TV producer and also working like with Heather for a while before you worked here. Will, you used to work at Peacock.
Yep, I also worked kind of in that same realm. And not to make it about me, but I was also there at said BravoCon with you guys. But
Oh, he was.
I was volunteered help. Like I was like, just like, they're like, you need to go stand over here and take photos of fans in these little.
I actually have a video of Will
Yes.
that I can send for the edit. You
Yep.
guys, I've got you.
Yeah. That's where we had just become getting to know each other there.
I had like met you there or something.
And I basically was like helping facilitate in the Bravo Museum where it
Yeah.
was like, oh, tell guests to keep walking.
You
make
were by
sure
the
I was
shot ski.
I was by the shot ski and I was taking photos of every fucking fan that came in. And it must have been like 400 people that was on my
Yeah.
shift. And so I was there, but in a different capacity
Do you know
than
that
you guys.
TikTok trend that's like, they don't know it yet, but in
Yeah,
three,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
if you, I at that BravoCon passed you, and I remember being like, oh, that's Dylan from Bravo by Betches. Should I say hi? No. And it's like Will at the fan booth, and it's like, they all don't know it yet, but soon they're all going to be working together.
Well, I think was the first time I met you, Will, at that Dancing Queens event at 30
No,
Rock.
I actually didn't get to go. That was also at 30 Rock, and I was there.
Dancing Queens. Nobody has thought about that show.
R.I.P. Dancing Queens. They really try with that.
When I was still working at Peacock, they're like, I don't think that's getting renewed. But basically, I think we had met at we met at the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip season 3 Thailand.
That's where we all met.
That weird spa event where they were like, this is such a funny event because I feel like with Bravo events, sometimes it's a very like reality TV fan kind of crowd.
Totally.
And this was an event where like they invited just like the most like broad level influencers.
And that's why we were invited. It's because they invited literally random.
So we were at the Crosby Street Hotel,
Yes.
and in this downstairs screening room area, we watched the premiere episode of that season of Girls Trip.
Yep.
And like me and a few of my friends that were there were like so excited to see this episode because we're like, it's gonna be Portia and Candace and Alexia and Marisol, and it's gonna be messy and fun. And then there's like 35 influencers who are
Again,
just like,
that's why we were there.
and
well, you were there for work.
watching the episode, I'm like hooting and hollering, and then like these girls are just like,
Well, I never was invited to Bravo events, obviously, but I used to post like about my job sometimes. So I think when they searched like Housewives on TikTok, I came up because I worked on that show.
Yeah,
so I was like, oh, I want to go see it.
Yeah.
But that event, I feel like normally sometimes the Bravo influencer events are just like a talent and like a free drink, but that one was extensive. Like there was foot massages, there was manicures.
So we watched the episode, and then they were like, "Come next door for a mini spa experience." And so it was like little mini manicures, like facials, massages, and then Portia pops out
of nowhere with the missing
with
bottle.
the Clase Azul,
which I was there for that.
And that was a whole gag. That wasn't even like, wasn't that?
Well, I can say this, but I have a theory. This is my personal theory.
Okay.
I think Pepsi drank the tequila. And when I tell you, like, everyone searched the footage and everyone was asking, like, did anyone...
Pepsi, the house manager.
I think that he drank the Clase Azul.
Oh.
No hate to Pepsi. Love him. Gem Angel.
Pepsi, if you're listening.
But I
Pepsi
just
heads.
that was my personal theory. I don't know, like, what actually happened.
Okay.
But I feel like that whole influencer experience was like much better than my actual trip to Thailand. It was so nice.
You're like, I was getting elephant shit thrown at me.
I was getting elephant shit and I was having irritable bowel syndrome in Thailand, but that was lovely.
You weren't the only one.
That was a toughie.
Yeah.
Wasn't Leah McSweeney
She was
like
deathly ill.
I will
deathly
say,
ill?
yeah. I think that Thailand, like the time difference and like the food, it's a lot for a person.
And
I
also the
struggled.
heat, I'm sure, as well. Like that whole climate is like...
Well, I feel like it's hard also because when you're on a show like that, like when they're filming White Lotus in Thailand, they're there for 6 months. They're living there. They're getting acclimated. When you go to film a reality show, you touch down and you're filming. Like
there's no adjustment.
It's real time. You're jet lagged. You're feeling sick. You're adjusting. Like
you see the
and when
worst
you're
version
producing
of you.
it, you're working these long days,
18-hour days.
It's not like they fly you out 2 weeks in advance so you can like acclimate.
I personally had a headache for an entire week, but that's okay.
From the women or just in general?
No, I'm sure that didn't
I think
help.
it was the time difference, but sure. There was one.
You're like Marisol is kind of loud.
Yeah, like Marisol. We filmed like one boat day, which I think that's where like Leah like got her period and she was like yelling.
That was like Leah and Portia being like, Portia bye, Leah bye, Portia bye. That was like
that was like the longest day ever. I think the seas were crazy or something, but we like couldn't get back to port. There was something crazy with that. And that was probably like the worst 20-hour day of like heat stroke where I was like, I don't know if I like this job anymore. I think I would like to work at a desk. Dylan, are you hiring?
And now you get to make canvas.
And now I get to make memes with you girls.
Yes.
Speaking of, I want to talk about your new show.
Yes.
Blabbermouths.
Love it.
We're a few weeks into it. We're getting settled. What is the one sentence? Like, what is Blabbermouths mean to you?
Oh my gosh.
Blabbermouths is a show that Betches gave us because we couldn't shut up at work.
Yeah.
Specifically, maybe Dylan had a hand in this. He was like, those two need a room where they can talk, so they stop talking to me.
Or like, I think these two are so loud and have so many opinions.
Yeah.
Let's put them in a room and see how long they last.
Yeah.
And then maybe try to, make some lemonade out of it and make money and have fun with it.
And also, for those who don't know, we run the Betches Instagram together. So it's also kind of a behind the scenes about like why we post stuff, working in social media. if you want an elaboration on our thoughts, or you're like, why did Betches tweet that? That's weird. It's because it's us two running the account and we have random thoughts.
Or it's our Victorian child that we feature
who's
regularly.
not here.
He's not here.
He must be taking a nap.
He's coming later. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Child
He's
actors,
normally here.
they can only work certain hours.
Ain't that the truth?
So you do have a physical
Victorian
doll
child,
that you explain things to.
Yeah, that we got on Facebook Marketplace.
Which is probably haunted.
With budget from this company.
But it's important to note that anything that's bad posted or, something that doesn't just hit, it's usually me and Eleni are in these intense meetings to make sure we're strategizing correctly. And the doll is at our computer posting at whim.
A random thought.
It's not us.
If you're like, why did they post Nepo Barbie?
If there's anything you don't like, blame the doll.
Yeah.
Please.
It definitely wasn't us two hungover on a Sunday.
So I want to talk about the idea of being a blabbermouth.
Yeah.
Yes.
And obviously, like that, we love blabbermouths. We are blabbermouths.
Yeah.
Who are some like reality TV figures that you would categorize as blabbermouths? And also, is it always a good thing to be a blabbermouth?
Ooh.
Like, can somebody be blabbermouth parentheses derogatory?
Ooh.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that a good blabbermouth is also a good listener, but also they're blabbing in a way where they're adding value to the conversation. They're not just blabbing to blab. Do you know what I'm saying? And some of these reality TV girls are blabbing to blab.
Yeah.
And that's derogatory.
Yeah.
And I think another part of being a blabbermouth is, like you said, listening, but I think you are also knowing your timing, right? Like you can talk for a long time, but being able to not only add value, but be comedic with it and know when to say the right things to keep the conversation going in that blabber central.
The first person who comes to mind for me is Dorit Kemsley.
Oh, yeah.
And
total blabber girl.
She is maybe more than anyone else has gotten the edit in her confessionals where she's telling a story and then they start to like chop it up and sort of fade into one. So it's like, and then I was going to the thing, and then
that's my favorite
and then she
edit.
said that, and then I was but don't you think that, and that's why blah 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 blah. Like
my favorite is when they also are like has a bunch of cuts in a confessional or like on a trip where she's speaking the language that they're on the trip to.
Oh,
and it's like,
she's a international blabbermouth.
She's an international blabberhead. So those are my favorite because then she even gets those cuts when she's speaking another language.
right, she's like
Tutte.
when she was ordering drinks in Italy,
Oh my God.
Gin tonic,
Gin tonic.
Campari soda. It's like just
Buco de Pep.
Just say gin and tonic, Dorit.
it's like you're speaking I can do an accent too.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I was gonna say, I think more from like personal experience with them, the two that would talk the most like on the phone to me, where I would just be like, okay, would probably be, and this is, well, one's compliment.
Don't tell us
A
which.
Rose and a Thorn.
A Rose and a Thorn. One is Lisa Barlow, where
Oh.
she's so funny that I'm like, I could listen to her all day.
Yeah.
But she definitely would be like a blabbermouth on the phone to me. And the other would be Ramona Singer. She would just be talking to talk.
Yeah.
Like she would be like, we'd be preparing a scene and she'd be like, could you empty my dishwasher while she's like talking at me? I'm like, no, Ramona, I'm not emptying your
I can't get
dishwasher
on
right now.
camera right now.
And then somehow she'd be talking and somehow I would end up emptying her dishwasher.
It's like, no, just put the cups away.
Yeah, she's like, okay, well, just grab that. Like she's very like New York.
I
mother.
do feel like that would be like a hazard of being in these people's homes sometimes, like in that production capacity, is like you're also just kind of an assistant for the day.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
no, like I'm like doing a task right
Yeah,
now.
and I think it's a lot of men too. So Ramona's like to the cameraman, like, "Oh, well, just take out the trash while you're walking down there with that battery."
You're a big strong man.
Yeah, you're a big strong man. So that happens.
Lisa Barlow definitely has the quality where like you could walk away from the phone for 30 minutes and
Totally.
then you come
Still
back and she
talking.
hasn't noticed
Yeah.
you
Haven't
out
they
there.
said Angie K
Probably.
is like said
Oh,
that where she's
she's
just
a
like I just-
blabbermouth.
She's a blabber, but like she is a compliment, like she's good to blab
She's
with.
sweet,
Like she's
yeah.
sweet, she's good, and you don't have to worry about probably finding conversation to talk about.
She
'cause
has
she'll
that
help you.
like exactly. It's like two girls telling each other exactly.
Yes, yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
NGK has that.
She's
Not
great.
to take credit for Angie K, but lore. When I was on the season of Salt Lake City, it was season 2.
She was a friend, right?
She was a friend, and they actually
guest.
cut a lot of. She was Jen's friend, but then also had like a relationship with Lisa.
Right.
And I think that there was like confusion on like who she should be friends of with, but because she had history of both of them. And Lisa was more like business wise. I think at the time they were doing like the boys' hair care brand at
Of
her
course.
salon. And so we filmed a lot of scenes with her and Jen, but obviously they all got cut because stuff.
Jen had other things going on.
Things going on. But I
Famously.
think that there was a scene where we were filming at Lunatic Fringe, like for something, and Angie wasn't really in it. She was just like the owner, like the same way when they film in a restaurant or have a party, it's like, oh, this is the party planner. She was not a main character.
Yeah.
But I had been talking to her so much about filming that I was like, wait, this woman is like really funny and
great.
interesting and rich and obviously Greek, and I'm Greek. And I had like met her at church and stuff, and I was like, oh, we need to get a Greek on the Real Housewives. And so I remember telling my bosses about her. And so I do want to say, like, I really planted the early seeds of like, this woman is interesting and fun.
Well, I think that's part of the thing with, as a reality TV, even as a viewer, but also, of course, on the production side of things, like really seeing that vision that somebody who is a very minor role or is in the background, like finding that nugget of something that it's like, oh, this person has that spark. And I think you don't always see it at first. Like with Angie K, it took a minute.
And even when she was on as a friend originally, I feel like she didn't get a lot of good edits, or like people weren't as obsessed with her. I want to say I was always an Angie K stan because I thought she was, like you said, very more interesting than some of the other women that were like the other Angie and Dana. So I was like, I didn't really like the two of them, but I loved Angie K. And so when she became a series regular housewife, I was like, she's getting the goodwill that she deserves.
I think it's hard to be yourself off the bat on like a setting like that.
Yeah.
And she probably has like the same Greek trauma that I do, where it's like, how are people going to perceive me? And so I think maybe she was being a little bit more reserved and a little bit more like not authentically herself. Because I remember watching her on TV and being like, oh my God, that is so not her. Like just like knowing her.
In the beginning.
But now I think she's much more herself.
Yeah.
Well, I think because she's somebody, and even like she came on the podcast, like I've met her a couple times. I feel like she has that really like over the top, like the big sunglasses, the Greek flag everywhere. Like she has that like like that character, but then also she can be really like soft and sweet.
I was
She's
gonna say, like,
so
a soft demeanor.
And she's really
like,
sensitive.
She's so sweet. When I tell you, like, she bought like, this is before she was anything. Like, she literally was just the like store owner at Lunatic Fringe, and we were filming at her store a ton. She like bought one of the audio guys' wife was having a baby. She bought them baby gifts. She got me a birthday little card. Like, she's very thoughtful.
Yeah,
and I felt like that wasn't shown. And she is like so wanting to be a good mother because like of her parental history, like, and her she's got a good family. I love Sean.
Yeah,
we're Stangy K's.
We're Stangy K's. I love her. She's a sweetie. I always will stand with the Greeks, obviously.
I also think probably the most prominent Bravo blabbermouth these days is Bethany Frankel, because she's on TikTok 14 times a day, yapping about chicken salad.
She's
and
Bethany the Blabberhead. Like, that's what she should.
She should
literally.
She should have gotten the rights to Blabbermouths before we got it up.
Careful, she's gonna come after your ass.
Skinny
Cheetah
girl
brand.
Blabbermouths.
Talking is my thing.
Well,
it's always been.
I think she is. I unpopular opinion, I kind of like some of her hot takes sometimes because she's willing to go the extra mile to really talk about, you know, hot takes about Bravo, and also be like the voice of reason / devil's advocate. So it's actually kind of welcoming sometimes to see someone who's a little like weary, but also like calling things out.
I don't mind Bethany's position right now because I feel like she's putting a lot of content out there, but I only have to engage with it when I choose to.
Yeah.
Fair.
She's not on a show. She's not like out here really like, she just is like in her little TikTok bubble.
She's in her niche.
Going to TJ Maxx and trying to find beaded purses.
Where does she stand with Bravo now? What happened with that article?
Well, I mean, I've talked about this a lot, but it's like she very conveniently, I think, like I've said this, like she was so into that like Bravo reckoning, like reality reckoning.
What happened
when
with
that? When the strikes, when the like SAG and Writers Guild strikes were happening, she was like, Bravo needs to go on strike too. We need to unionize. I'm going to be the face of this. Raquel got dragged. This person got treated poorly. And then, like, the second that stopped being, like, in the zeitgeist, she hasn't spoken about it since. And so, like, I think that Bethany it blabs a lot. And then it's like, we got to follow. Where's
she
the
blabs
action?
the blab, but doesn't walk the blab.
What?
But like,
Will does this. If you watch our show, he says things that doesn't make any sense.
I'm finding it.
you get what I mean? Where
She talks the talk, but she doesn't walk the walk.
So let's figure out. She blabs the
She
blab.
blabs the blab, but she doesn't.
You know, we don't have to always do a play on words.
I know, but it's kind of fun if it comes in sometimes I don't know what I'm gonna say, and my mouth just finds a way, and sometimes it doesn't.
What?
Like, that sounded inappropriate, but you know what I mean.
Very like Jurassic. Life finds a way.
I was gonna say that when she released that whole article thing, I understood where she was coming from about like that, like an actor gets residuals and they don't.
Yes.
But she lost me on the treatment of them during filming, because if you've ever worked like in production, girls, I'm talking to all the people behind the scenes. Like she lost me on like who needs to union. Yes, Bravo does need to unionize, but it's the production people.
Yeah, it's not
like,
you to reality TV stars, girl.
Had a 5-star lunch and a spa. I had to sit in a corner on the ground for 14 hours, no meal break and no extra money.
Right,
like,
you had like a warm can of Diet Coke and a bag of chips.
Yes,
for lunch.
Yeah.
I think if there was that, I was like that one boat where we were trapped. I was like, I need a cracker. I was like, they had their little charcuterie board. I'd walk by and like grab a pretzel stick.
Are we gonna see you in callback clips of you?
No,
like
I
the
would be
producer?
behind the
They're
scenes.
gonna be like, actually, for continuity, you need to put that cracker back.
But I think she could have done something with that better if she hadn't gone the
what was
actor
me, I'm a
route.
reality
I think
TV
if she
star.
had gone the production route and been a face for production, reality TV unionizing, because like I worked on a scripted show which is unionized. Oh baby, 14,000 meals,
Crackers everywhere.
Breaks, chili cart rolling through set. But if she had gone that route, I think she would have had a lot more people behind her than like the people, because the reality TV girls aren't going to go with her because they don't want to lose their jobs on their shows.
That was the thing for me, is like she was saying that she wanted to unionize reality stars, but she never, to actually be the person leading that charge, you have to do so much work to get people inside the tent with you.
Yeah.
And there was literally not a single other current Bravo person who ever was willing to.
It's only people who wanted screen time.
Well, the screen time,
and I don't mean to be like anybody who said that was like just being thirsty, but it's like, but it's like the current housewives have to want to be in the union too.
Right.
Like the only ones she got, unfortunately, were like Leah McSweeney, Aviva.
Right. The people trying to sue.
Yeah. Right.
Which like, go get your bag.
Yeah.
But like they don't need the union. They're not on the show anymore.
Yeah.
Bethany girl, you could take some advice from us. You could have had a lot more effects with your unionizing.
Well, and that's on things that happened 2 years ago.
We have thoughts.
The only other I wanted, not to quickly change, but quickly add in, the other blabberhead person that I wanted to say in Bravo universe is, what's her name with the glasses? I was saying her before.
Oh, Dana Wilkie.
Dana Wilkie. She's
25,000.
Deep cut girls, I don't know who that is.
She's a deep cut from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, she was a friend on Beverly Hills for like 2 seasons, and to this day, she has a podcast where she talks about Bravo. So
and she's,
true blabber.
She's also in
talk about people who can't let things go.
Yeah, well, she's in the that's her, Dana, and she's had like
I've
she
never
was
seen that woman in my life.
She was in the Housewife and the Hustler Hulu documentary about Erica Jane, and I was just like, wait, what?
I always get reached out to about those, but I think I can't with my NDA. Same. But if you guys want to drop a pretty penny, I will blab.
I don't know if I've said this before. I got reached out to for the one that they were doing about Randall Emmett.
Me too.
And I was like, I do not want to be on the record talking about this man. It's one thing for me to be in the cone of podcast studio where I'm like, nobody listens to this.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you guys do, and
we
thank
love
you, and I love you. But like, nobody listens to this.
Yeah.
If I'm on Hulu talking about Randall Emmett, like, allegedly yada, 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 bitch, I'm getting sued.
Yeah, no.
Wait, so the other night I want to talk about, I went to the premiere of Another Simple Favor.
I was there too.
You were there too. So we're like working,
not.
I guess Betches is like working with them, but I didn't even know that. I just like got invited. I was like,
didn't
yeah, I'll go
know?
to the movie.
That's kind of funny.
I knew that we were like broadly doing like a campaign with them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that like
Movie premiere.
You and coworkers were like attending to capture. I was just like, y'all, I'll go see the movie. I like the first one.
Well, you love a movie.
Yes.
No, but so I got there and I do. I got to my.
He's an AMC golden card pass member.
He gets invited to all the
my
free
golden
ones.
card pass. No, I am.
Oh,
A-list,
you are.
baby.
You are.
He's an A-list AMC member.
Okay.
I would
Respect.
there are so many things I would cancel and stop paying for before my AMC A-list.
100%. My insurance being one of them.
Will,
I'm like,
you're
man,
not
that-
an AMC A-list.
I am.
Oh, I didn't
You think you know everything about me,
Slender.
bitch?
I'm sorry, but Dylan is at a
Respectfully.
movie.
No, I know. I don't post a lot because I'm always running home to go see it in New
Sure.
Jersey. But
It's too busy.
I'm too busy.
No, but so I went to this thing and I got to my seat early, and I always, when I go, if you're at like a screening like that, I'm like, I don't know if there's gonna be a line or
Yeah.
whatever. So I got there early and I was like, damn, I'm pretty early. And then I realized that I had the perfect vantage point of people watching.
Oh, my favorite.
Because it was at Jazz at Lincoln Center,
Yep.
which I had never been in before, but
Really
they
cool.
put me in this like little box seat that was just elevated, but right at the back of like the orchestra section. And that's where all the celebrities were sitting. So I had the perfect view. And the first person I clocked, because I was like, okay, like, let's see who's here. These New York premieres, it's an eclectic group usually.
Mm-hmm.
And the first person I noticed was Mr. J, aka Jay Manuel from America's Next Top Model,
Yep.
with the gray hair,
Good for him.
the like frosty gray hair. There was
Yep.
Mr. J and Miss J.
Who?
No, but so
They're judges.
Oh, got it.
I see.
Clocked.
Thank you.
Early 2000s memes.
Sure. But so I see him, I'm like, I think that's Mr. J. And then I saw him stop and talk to somebody, and I realized it was Christian Siriano. And I'm like,
yes.
oh, fun, okay.
He was there.
They must know,
Project
gay,
Runway.
fashion, whatever. Same circles.
Same circle.
And then I watch as Jay is pulling up photos on his phone, and for like 10 minutes is swiping through, showing photos to Christian Siriano. I'm just like,
Of what?
like vacation or where he just was it looked like a pool.
Yeah.
I was like a little too far to see like the
Yeah.
photos.
The photos are tough.
But I'm like, oh my god.
But you're
like,
really watching the exchange.
I'm like, oh my god, Christian Siriano is trapped right now. and then I see who walks up, Margaret Josephs.
Oh, yes.
And her BFF Lexi. They have the
Yes.
same haircut.
Lexi, sweetheart. Have you met her?
Yes, I actually served her at the Asbury Ale House.
No,
Oh,
she's the best.
I worked with her at BravoCon.
But so
Sweetie.
they walk up, they are seated right next to Jay, right in front of Christian Siriano. So they're just sitting there minding their business while Jay is still talking at Christian Siriano, and I do mean talking at. And then I watch
Talk about Blabberhead.
Jonathan
Talk about a blabbermouth.
Jonathan Chebin, aka Food God,
Oh, God.
former
What is this group of
Kardashian
people?
hanger on. He is like walking up the row and has to like scooch past Christian Siriano to get to his seat, which I just love the thing of like, oop, let me just
Let me just
get
it's
past
so
John.
awkward.
And then he
Celebrities are like
sits
us.
down next to Lexi Wood and her curly-haired sister.
No!
Oh, my God.
Wait, talk about random influencer people invited to an event for no reason.
No, there's more, because then I look up and I'm like, who's that? Who's the lady with the short hair? Patty LuPone.
She was there.
What is this group
And then
of people?
and then I'm like, oh, she's talking to this man in sunglasses, Michael Kors.
we,
Oh
we need
my
to
God.
edit a picture like of a Jesus's table with like
Like
all
all
these
the-
people.
And then I see
They're all there.
Dorinda coming up the aisle.
Oh,
she- my God.
She stopped and said hello to Margaret, like a frosty blonde housewife moment.
Yep.
They
I
really
think
couldn't get
Jackie
anyone to go to this.
Jackie Goldschneider was
there.
also there, and for a second I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." I didn't see her talking to Margaret, and I'm like, "Oh, because
They
Jackie
hate
is
each other.
Teresa's BFF
Yes.
now." Cursed.
So sorry.
But it was just
Cursed row in general.
yeah.
Well, it's an
it was
eclectic group
fun
of
though.
people. I was
Will,
interviewing
who
on the
were
red.
you next to?
I was interviewing on the red carpet, but
Oh,
no, I thought they were gonna come down and I could get a chance to say hi, but only the stars of the
Will
show.
loves to see Margaret in public and go, I served you once in a restaurant in New Jersey.
Yes,
I've
that's
watched
like
him
my
do
bit.
it 3 times.
And
Well,
you
it's
know
like
what
my
she would
bit.
say to that? She'd be like, "Oh my God, baby doll, it's so good to see you again."
When I posted a photo of her at the another
I
Bravo
think she
event,
follows me on
she
Instagram.
commented and goes, "Great seeing you again," and I'm like, everyone thinks that we're
Every
really
time
good friends.
Margaret Joseph at a brand event hates to see Will coming to say, I served you an iced tea once at a restaurant on the beach in New Jersey when I was
Iced tea,
working there in
no
COVID.
Ice. It was during COVID, and she came in, and I was just like, "Put her in my section, please." And she was there with Lexi, and they weren't filming, which I would have been like, "Get me in. I'll sit with you and gab." But
I do love the Margaret and Lexi combo, because Margaret has her little Jersey accent, and then Lexi is like
the
half British.
Yeah, I thought
and
it was
so
Australian.
Margaret's like, "Oh, how have you been, dear? Good to see you." And then Lexi's like, "Are you going to the after party? I haven't seen you in forever.
yeah, they're
Have
kind
you-
of like a hoot.
Do you
the
want
two
to
of
drink
them.
a soiree?" I just love they're a fun little duo. And
I
if
would
Marge
love-
Senior is with them, forget
Oh
it.
my
Forget
God.
it.
I would love to watch a show just
I
on
would
3 of
love
them.
to watch Marge Senior and Patti LuPone have a conversation.
Yes, that would be riveting.
Let's get on that Real Houses of New Jersey.
I just want Patti LuPone to like meet Lexi Wood, actually, the other Lexi that's there as well. Who I want to see them interact.
I don't think Patti LuPone will get Lexi Wood at all.
No, of course not.
Patti LuPone, like, what's a summer house? I don't think Patti LuPone would like watch a Bravo show.
No.
No.
I think that if she would
She'd be
respectfully
like, I like
decline.
people with talent.
Yeah.
Sing a song. Do a monologue.
Yeah.
I feel like she sees
Dance.
those Real Housewives and events. And she's like, not one of those.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she doesn't understand why they're famous or how famous they are.
Right. Patti LuPone sees Ramona Singer and is like,
She's like,
I gotta go home.
We used to be a proper country.
I have 3 Tonys.
she probably thinks it's Madonna's like older sister. She's like, get that devil away from me.
The older sister. Madonna and Ramona are probably about the same age.
Oh, you think?
No.
Yeah.
Not with that face tuning that she's been doing.
I know Ramona is being a Facetune culprit. I will say though, Ramona, I hope to be looking as good as her at my age. She be
Oh, yeah.
looking
No,
good,
this is,
working
like, no
out.
disrespect.
The thing is, like, she looks good for her age. She doesn't look like she's 35.
No, and she needs
that's
to
the
stop
problem
with
with
the
the
Facetune.
face
You look
tune.
great, girl.
Yeah, like own your look, own your life.
We watched Summer House, so I
Yes.
want to talk about Summer House.
Oh my God, please.
A little bit.
Wait, let me get my notes.
Perfect.
So this week's episode is like the downfall of Lexi and Jesse.
Yeah.
It's really over for
Saw
them.
that coming.
I kind of like that this was a more fun, like the last episode was like building up to that, in rising action.
The season's been a little slow for me personally. I think that this was a really good episode.
Yeah.
With Jesse and Lexi, like, was there ever a moment where you were like rooting for them as a couple, or is it kind of like nothing good can grow from this?
I don't think I was ever rooting for them as a couple because it seemed so crazy at first with Jesse just immediately, like, it seemed like he was love bombing her from episode 1. So it was kind of like already doomed from the start. Like, it was like there was no hope there because of the setup of it all.
I did not like the way they edited her, like in the very beginning, where, you know, when they try to make you like root for the new character, or, like understand the new character's like trauma.
Yeah.
Her thing was like, and I was bullied as a kid because I was modeling.
Yeah.
Lost me.
Oh yeah, that
boo,
was tough.
freaking who? You were bullied because you were a model at 13.
She's
like,
Cry me a river.
She's like, it was so hard when I would be in Paris and
And
then I would
had to
come back to
navigate-
school and people were like, why were you in Paris?
Or no,
And they didn't think it was cool at all.
well, she would also be like, I actually have been through hard things. Like, I went to Paris and navigated that way to travel around Paris. I go,
I was like, yeah.
this is your hardship in life. So
She clearly hasn't had that kind of childhood experiences that we all had that were traumatizing.
Sure.
And
Speak for yourself.
I personally didn't have to like be a model and get bullied.
I do think it's funny though. It's like there is this kind of like archetype where I feel like every famous person or every like model or beautiful whatever has sort of a similar broad anecdote of like, I was an outcast. I wasn't popular.
Yeah.
I was bullied. And I'm not saying that like none of those stories are valid, because I'm sure like
everyone
Yeah.
feels
I'm
that
sure
way.
somebody pretty was bullied
Yeah.
once. But like
Once.
I feel like it becomes a thing where it's like you feel like it's like illegal to acknowledge that you were popular and pretty in
Yeah.
high school. That you're like, no, I was gangly.
Yeah,
I was skinny, but I was too skinny.
I am tired of people, and this is all people, celebrities, writing memoirs for like reality TV people being like, I was bullied as a child. We were all bullied,
Yeah.
girls. Where are the bullies? Stand up
Yeah.
and say,
I
yeah,
wanna hear-
I was a fucking bully.
No, I want to hear who was the bully, right? Like, instead of the bully.
Well,
let's
no
change
one's ever the
narrative.
bully. All we hear is I was bullied as a kid. You and everyone else, bitch. You're not special.
I will stand up and say that I talked a lot of shit in middle school.
I believe that, Dylan.
I was a shitster in middle school as well. So
I was
but I'm never a
bullied.
bully.
I was bullied.
I wouldn't
my
say
God.
no, but like I will own shit talking. I don't think I was a bully.
No.
I think
I was bullied. And I'm still friends with my high school friends, and one of them was a bully, and we all talk about how she was a huge bully. And she laughs and is like, yeah, I was a bully.
Oh, that's
Respect.
Let's get her on
Evan
record.
Delora.
Oh.
She's my friend. I
Okay,
can
no,
say
you're
it.
fine.
I just
She
like,
knows she was a bully.
I always
Because
I-
kids are mean.
Yeah, I always think like describing somebody as nice is kind of like the most boring thing you can say about them, and I'm
Right.
like, yeah, like I don't think I'm like the nicest person. I'm like warm. I can be friendly, but like I'm not like.
But that's where I felt like the thing with Lexi, where she was like on the phone with her mom and sister, I'm guessing, on the floor. And she's like, Yeah, but he told me he loved me.
Yeah.
Girl, have you never spoken to a man ever?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
men notoriously say shit they don't mean.
She's young.
All the time.
She's young, so we had also were
How old is
commenting
she?
on-
She's
23.
26.
Oh, she's 26.
She's 26 and he's like
my age.
31.
True. But
Right.
like I feel like unfortunately she seems more immature to me. Respectfully, I don't mean that meanly. I just mean it like this whole bit kind of makes sense. Like it is to me truthful, but it's like
I don't think she's had men tell her, like, mislead her before. I think men just like her and stay with her, and she dates them longer. I think she hasn't like been in the fuckboy dating scene.
It kind of reminds
doesn't
me.
have to be.
She hasn't been on the Montauk dating scene.
I haven't watched The Bachelor in years, but like I feel like there was a thing where there would be these women that came on that were like between like 21 and 25 that were like, ugh, I'm just so done with all of these guys, all of
You've
these
been dating
guys
for
out
5
there,
minutes.
and I want to find the one, and I want to find that the Mr. Right, and I just feel like I've been through the ringer with dating and yada yada yada, and I'm like, I don't not believe you that you've had negative experiences with dating, but like so has everyone.
Yeah.
And like you haven't it's not like you've been it's not like you're 40 years old and you're like,
been
I've
at this
never
forever.
connected with anyone.
Yeah.
It's like keep meeting
trying.
people, keep going out. You don't need to like settle and get married.
I also feel like these are the prettiest people we've ever like you see these gorgeous people like you're not going on and they're like, oh, you're ugly, get on camera. Like they're picking the pretty people. Like I would be honored if I was ever, because I'm like not that I'm like, oh my god, I'm ugly.
Will, you're gorgeous.
Thank you so much. But I feel like it's like you're
Rare moment of me being nice to Will.
very rare. But it's like a lot of these people are universally gorgeous.
They're conventionally
pretty,
attractive.
and they're conventionally attractive. So it's always rich to me when people are complaining about it. It's
Yeah.
like, girl, like you've definitely had better experiences than just what we're seeing here. Like
What I do,
woe is me is hard.
Yeah. What I do respect of her, where she did better than me. A man would have done that to me and then in front of people, embarrassed me publicly in front of my friends, and then in private been like, I'm sorry. And I would have been like, okay. She was like, no, this was a line crossed. And she didn't need to put up with it.
Yeah.
But again, she's conventionally attractive. I'm sure there'll be others. I would be like, what if there aren't others?
I know.
I did like that at the end of the episode when he came to her apartment.
Yeah.
And I like that she stood by her guns and was kind of like, this we either are like really going to try again or this just isn't going to be a thing. And I don't think I have enough good evidence to really try again. So like, we're done.
I like that too. I think that's good. She's winning me over as a viewer, because in the beginning it felt like she was wishy-washy with the toe sucking. I mean, the amount of toe sucking, they should get that on like
He's like, look, aside from the toe suck, I get it. I'm sorry.
I'm only sorry and admit I was wrong for the toe sucking. You got me there.
It was a joke.
Right. The amount of times I feel like Jesse has dug a hole for himself is just like a whole other area.
And the Sierra thing is so.
I
he's like, I said that I would have gotten with you last summer to make you feel better.
Or like I said that,
crazy. He's walking around after saying that freely as a free man. That's an insane thing to say.
Well, and the way that he always talks or like tries to apologize, he's like, or saying these things, he's smiling. Like he's almost like, he's kind of like, what's that American Psycho? Yeah, American Psycho movie where he's smiling, saying something sincere, and you're like, you're a psychopath.
Yeah. Speaking of, he's also like Lexi, where women haven't checked him before like that.
Yeah.
So I think Lexi having boundaries with him, he's like, wait, normally they're forgiving me.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought I was just gonna fall in love.
Yeah.
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 Or it's like,
well, maybe we're not meant to be together if this is how you're acting after an argument. Like, that's crazy behavior.
But I've changed everything about
yeah,
myself.
right.
Yeah.
And everything's a joke.
I was
Why can't
gonna
you
say-
take a joke? That was pretty good,
That was
right?
pretty good impression.
Thank you.
I was going to say some advice I have for Jesse Solomon where he made a huge misstep is where he went to the girls and was like, yeah, I have a problem because you guys told her something I told you. Jesse Solomon, women talk, bro. These women aren't your bros.
Yes.
You told them what you were saying about another woman and you're on a reality TV show. Obviously, they're going to tell her.
Right. It's like a double decker.
Yeah.
That's your fault, because it's like you're talking to these girls who obviously, and it's like there's a producer that's like, hey, Sierra, go talk to Lexi.
Yeah.
Well, and also I think it's rich that he thinks that he can almost try to spin like he's saying the things that the girls are saying are not what he said, but it's like, girl, you are saying
It's on camera,
It's
babe.
on camera. Like, how do you not sit there and go, wait, that is what I said. I should at least try to fix this. You know what I mean? Or apologize.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I do just want to give a little word of encouragement to Lexi because she's like, they're making me look like a psycho.
No,
Nobody thinks you're a psycho.
No, I know.
We think you need to like grow up a little.
I think also like when you are on those shows for a long time, when new people come into the house, like if you're a Paige or a Lindsay, new people come on the show and like there is a bit of an ulterior motive, like in the back of your mind, like you're not just here to be my friend, you are here to be on TV.
Yeah.
So I think their perspective was like, you came here and immediately got
Started
with
dating.
this guy. So yeah, we didn't get to connect with you because you were with him all the time. And also like, I don't know, there's a lack of trust that you have to build with the girls if you want to be with the girls. Does that
Be
make
a
sense?
girl first.
I think
before-
it's good for Lexi that it feels like she is friends with the girls now.
Yeah.
And that's where Imral is really lacking this season as the
Yeah.
other new person is like, I don't know anything about you
No,
except
nothing.
for you have threesomes
Yep.
and it doesn't feel like you've
He
formed
is doing too much.
a bond with anyone.
He's just trying to have more sex. Like he's forming bonds, but not with the house. Like he's having sex with more people than, and I think he makes it worse for. He's not going to get back.
My
get
favorite
asked back.
thing from, not my favorite thing, but something that was like funny when working on shows, because I worked on a lot of dating shows, not just like Bravo universe, but whenever talent like puts a shirt over the camera, I love being the person in the control room that's just like wiggling the stick
joystick
of the camera, be like, shake this shirt off. He really thinks he's doing something there.
he doesn't
Amateur
have
hour.
he doesn't have the touch,
No.
the
No.
placement. I want to get to a new segment that we're doing on the
Ooh,
show.
Love it.
This is our new segment, That's My Opinion, inspired by the legendary Tamra Judge, where we hold space for our strongest reality TV hot takes and personal beliefs. We're each going to have 60 seconds to get activated about our opinions, and you can let us know in the comments whether you agree or whether we're alone on Scary Island with no friends. Now, who wants to go first and be the inaugural opinion sharer?
Oh my god.
You go first, Will. You had a good one.
No, I mean, I guess I could, but I was like,
ahead.
should you, Dylan? You're the
No, I'm going last.
Oh,
Oh.
gosh, okay. All
And
right.
that's where he is our boss.
Yes. He's like,
Whatever you
Veto.
say.
Okay, Will, you have 60 seconds.
Okay.
What's your opinion?
Okay, so timer starts. Oh, thank you, producer Joe. I'm freaking out. Okay, I think the Workus sisters should have had more seasons on the Summer House. I know that's crazy. I know they're crazy, and the way that we leave them in Summer House early on, it's like good riddance. But I thought they were really great reality TV gone too soon. I would have loved to see more of where their relationships intersect with Lindsay Hubbard or with Carl. I would have kind of loved to see more back and forth between Lauren and Carl. I also really thought they had a fun relationship with each other, like seeing twins on TV. They're identical. They could have done so many funny bits, switching places. There could have been a lot that made them more reality TV stars. And I really liked the original cast that was on that show, and I would have loved to see more of them go further on, like even Steven as their relationship together. So I really loved the Workus sisters. I thought they were funny. We're at 54 seconds, and I think I'm just going to leave it like that.
That's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
That's my opinion. Interesting. As I like that you're kind of coming at it from like a twins' rights angle. as
a multiple.
As a quadruplet.
Yeah,
Will's a quadruplet.
I should have said that in the 60
was like
seconds.
justice for the twins.
Justice for the
You should have
twins.
said that.
I'm a quadruplet, so that's also partially motivated through
Okay.
that. Twins' rights.
Justice for...
Justice
What
for
is that
multiples on TV. Kate and 8 plus 8. I mean, John and Kate plus 8.
Okay, you had your minute. you had your minute.
said that. You could have said that.
Okay, Eleni. Not to put you in the hot seat.
My
but you have
opinion
60
is
seconds.
this. Oh, wait. Ready? Go. My opinion is this. Stop sending people on cast trips to tropical places the same for. I'm tired of the Bahamas. I'm tired of Mexico. I'm tired of the Cabo and the Cancun. And I'm not just saying that as a producer who was tired of going to the same fucking place over and over again. I would have loved instead to be paid on a trip to go to Paris, Madrid. I want to see Dorit in, where was she? Paris, talking in an accent, or is that right? French.
Sure.
I'm tired of the same beach, the same scenes, the same horses riding through the ocean. Take me somewhere interesting. Take me somewhere cold. What happened to Ultimate Girls Trip Winter? That was Switzerland was in the works at a point in time. I would like to go somewhere interesting. We're tired of seeing the same beach scenes and beach lovers over and over again, and that's my opinion.
Okay.
That was under 60 seconds. Good job.
It was like 55.
You got your point in there. Oh, Switzerland girls trip.
Yeah.
Was that not public knowledge?
I don't know. We can bleep it. We can bleep Switzerland.
Yeah, you can say it. Whatever.
Say it. Okay. I like that though.
Yeah.
I like that. More locales, more
The amount of
differentiation.
and that's not just for housewives. Like the Love Is Blind people and like the Netflix girls just be going Cabo, Tulum.
Well, you
Cabo,
spent like
Tulum.
a month in Tulum on one show, right?
That I could write a whole lot. That's my opinion about how I hate Tulum. Oh. If you have a wedding or a bachelorette there, I'm not coming, honey. Don't invite me. Overpriced and terrible.
Okay, my opinion is that I still fucking love it whenever celebrities talk about watching Bravo or Real Housewives.
Yes.
I've seen people with the take that this is they're trying to get attention, they're pandering to the masses, that they're like, oh, I'm gonna say I watch Housewives and get a bunch of clicks and people are gonna like me. I don't care. I like it. I saw Florence Pugh on the Thunderbolts red carpet stopping Garcelle and her son Oliver because she wanted a picture with them. She watches Housewives. She loves them. That's all I care about. Give me every clip of Seth Rogen talking about Sheena from Vanderpump Rules. Give me every clip of Ben Stiller talking about why Kyle texting PK was wrong. I want every celebrity. I want Sarah Paulson channeling Meredith Marks on Broadway. I want the White Lotus cast watching Southern Charm. It still gives me a thrill every single time. And if you think it's tired, that's okay. But I don't care. And also, celebrities, come on the show and talk about Housewives to me. That's my opinion.
Yes! That was the best one.
That was really good.
That was really
Thank
good.
you.
And John Hamm saying thoughts and prayers to Greg and Paige.
And also Rihanna, I love when you hear Rihanna secretly DMing stars, or like on Ask Andy from Watch What Happens Live, Mary Cosby texted Andy and said that Rihanna DM'd her. And was
Rihanna
like,
loved to DM Heather.
My phone background on my work phone is John Oliver in his Brooks Marks tracksuit.
I have
Watch
no
What Happens
tracksuit.
Live.
But did you get it for free? I'm sure John Oliver did.
I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I worked on that show.
I know. I wasn't sure if you got it.
I had to,
You're like, I'm not that bad with money.
but I did donate it when I moved. Sorry, Brooks.
Oh.
Wow. Well, thank you guys for sharing all your opinions.
On that note,
thank you for sharing all your opinions, not just your chosen opinions, but opinions about lots of things.
this was so fun.
If people want to hear more opinions from you guys, I think there's a place for that. Can you talk about Blabbermouths and where to find it?
If you want to hear and see more of this, you can watch us on Blabbermouths, which is on the Betches YouTube and Spotify and where you get your podcasts.
And you can see us post about the Blabbermouths and ourselves on the Betches main account.
Yes.
And then on our personal accounts at Oser.
At Eleni Sabracos.
And new episodes of Blabbermouths every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
Every
Until they fire
Saturday.
us.
And
Okay.
that's
I'm kidding.
Speak for yourself,
well
Will.
after this.
After this.
And you can watch that on the Betches YouTube. And now you can watch Mention It All on the Always On YouTube channel. So if you've been listening to this episode, you could have been watching it. It sucks to suck. But thank you. We love you all so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening, watching. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. And until next time, be cool. Don't be all like uncool.